It would be a lot damn funnier if it wasn't.
We have a slogan.
Wing
it.
Wing it. Talking about winging it, we are with the man, the legend, Joe Morgan from Sac Sports Nation. With my man E-Man as well right next to me. He looks all scrubby looking, but it's all good.
Bro,
they can't not look good.
Like,
everyone can't look good like me, right, Joe? How you doing, brother?
Leo talking trash already before we even get
Look
going.
at that.
Dude, it's another beautiful day. I mean, it's perfect outside. Not that any of y'all can see that right out this window is beautiful. Some news yesterday that changed our show notes a little bit. And
Changed notes by a lot, actually.
Yeah, maybe
Because
just a little.
Our focus was
free agency, maybe?
NBA free agency, was a little bit of the draft, was some player grades for the season, and we're talking analytics, all that stuff. Yeah, we're talking about the assumptions of what may or may not happen, which is always fun, right?
Bro, it's a game and it's fun, but sometimes real life jumps into it.
How you doing, by the way? He needs some coffee. I know Joe drinks a lot of coffee. This is his, what, third?
Well, there's 3 cups in each one, and I've had 2 of these already. And I'm one way in, so I'm, I don't know, 6 cups into that.
So before we get into all this, huge shout out to our sponsors, the Detailing Pros Sacramento and Valley Tire. So make sure to visit them on their websites and follow them on Instagram. Joe, yesterday, breaking news, TMZ breaks it. Luke Walton gets charged for sexual assault. Are they calling it sexual battery?
Yeah, sexual battery, which
Okay.
again, one of the issues we have, and I'm gonna go off on my little high horse
Right.
here. One of my issues that I have with all this is our verbiage in America. If a little kid is walking down the street and his mom says, "Are you hungry?" he says, "I'm starving." If you charge a 17-year-old has sex with an 18-year-old, that's rape. I wish that we were more clear on verbiage of specifics. I don't like that one thing umbrellas the whole thing. Not that I'm clarifying, not that I'm saying one way or the other what's right and wrong. I'm just saying I hate that verbiage-wise we have the same word for something that can be so dramatically different. And you're like, sexual battery, what does that mean? Because when I picture it, it means if you did it to my daughter, you would disappear.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. But at the same time, no one knows anything yet. I hate these situations. They come out and it's like, we know what TMZ said. Well, they're not reporters. They just.
But TMZ does have a lot of history of breaking these type of
Oh, no.
stories. I mean, this
They
is their
absolutely
this
do,
is their
but-
niche.
Yeah,
their niche.
Yeah, what a niche to have.
This is what they do, though.
Hey, I talk sports. What do you talk about? Oh, well, sexual battery.
Right.
Right on. Sounds fun.
But
Zach Randolph.
they
Oh, yeah.
broke the Zebo, the Ray Rice,
Which
Ray
what came out of the
Rice.
Zebo thing? Does anybody remember?
I don't remember. honestly.
No?
Charged, right?
Yeah, because
Freeman.
we can just put whatever we want on TMZ, and then the next day it's like,
But there's a big difference between weed and sexual
I agree
assault.
with you completely. But let's go back to the verbiage thing.
Okay.
Zach Randolph caught with what was it, a pound? I don't know.
Right, a lot.
Pound of narcotics.
Right.
Well, that's the same verbiage. What was his meth? I mean, like
That's true.
It's all about verbiage, man, and I don't know.
So-
I'm justifying
so-
something that shouldn't be justified.
So
but I'm
Luke's
just saying.
attorney, Luke's attorney came out and said that he's pretty much innocent, right? That the girl was opportunistic, and then the Kings came out and said, "Well, we got to do more research." And
Well,
I'm just,
yeah.
and I'm just paraphrasing. This is not
That was
verbatim.
all 3 teams, Warriors, Lakers, Kings, all came out with the same basic statement, and it's that whole like, we have a
Right.
statement. Our statement is no statement. Have a great day. And what would you say if you were the
Right.
lawyer for the Kings right now? What would you say? Hell, if you were Luke's lawyer, if you were anybody,
Luke's lawyers,
we need to look
he's
into this.
innocent.
Maybe I get
which
his
to me
point
is
of view.
crazy, because you don't know, right?
Well,
I would have came out with the same one.
and how
supposed to say
would
he's
you?
innocent.
How would you ever
That's what
know?
lawyers do.
There's
Right,
2
right,
people in a room.
I guess. But
2 people in a room who say different things. How will anyone, honest to God, ever have an answer?
don't they take like these lie detecting?
You know what a lie detector is?
I don't.
It like checks your blood pressure, bro. They're worthless.
So
they're
you
worthless,
can like prepare
antiquated
yourself
nonsense.
mentally and be like,
Honest to
gonna
God,
lie.
like I'm gonna plug a show that isn't anything to do with us, but watch the show Adam Ruins Everything,
Right.
and it's I love the show because I like when people tell truth even when it's not popular.
It's like some
But-
investigative
But
stuff.
it's talking about, there's one that he does about the police, and it's talking about like, what is a lie detector and how does it work? And it's like, you might as well use a magic 8-ball. Is he lying?
Right.
It looks shady.
It's
You know, like,
it's that unpredictable
yeah,
and
they're
that inaccurate.
worthless. The guy who made it never meant it to be used for like law enforcement and stuff. And even he, like when it was being used, he's like, yeah, that's not good at that. It's just, it's
Okay.
hilarious.
Hypotheticals. Obviously, this is all we're all assuming right now. Say he does get charged, and this is real. Like this happened. What do you do as an organization? And I want to ask you first, and then ask you
I would
next.
like for Joe to
All right,
go
go
first.
ahead, go ahead.
I get to be the one to throw the noose around my neck.
Go ahead.
So
This is hypotheticals. Okay.
okay, two
And
things.
then we'll go if all this is false, what happens then? But first, what if he did do it?
So,
'Cause-
I come back to my answer. No one's ever going to know the answer to that. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if you have
Oh,
get the
legitimately.
FBI squad out here and DNA, all the ninja stuff that they have. And
Right.
at the end of the day, it's two people in a room arguing. Who's going to know the answer? So now, hypothetically,
Right. There's enough
way-
evidence
way
that we know
hypothetical.
he did it.
a video comes out that shows every angle and there's no debating it, then he can't coach because everything about the NBA is okay. Back on my high horse. Why do we watch sports? For 2 hours, me and my son can forget about the entire world and enjoy a game, a silly ass game. Sorry,
Go ahead.
to just be ridiculous for 2 hours. I don't care who they are. We're gonna cheer for 5 guys in purple, and you cheer for 5 guys in yellow, and we hate each other for an hour because you like yellow and I like purple. Awesome. To bring serious life into that ruins the entire thing. And I get they're people. I get they have lives. I get things happen. I get they have real stuff. But I can't have my kid, my 7-year-old kid can't cheer for a team that you're in charge of if that were 100% true, proven true. And I want to clarify 100 times, I am not saying it is. I'm not saying anything like that. But if you are that guy, it's not okay. And we've had conversations off air in the past about, I think that same thing is true about almost anything they bring into that arena that is real stuff.
Right.
Because I sit next to one guy, and I'll just use random examples, but like you'll sit next to a felon and a surgeon and my kid and some kid who's from a different area, and we're all friends for that 2 hours. And we're friends because we have 5 guys in purple that are playing a children's game, and for 2 hours I don't think about what he voted for, what he believes in. And if you have done something horrible and it brings that into that world,
Everything
you've
changes.
ruined it.
Yeah.
You've ruined it. You've ruined the whole reason we're here. We're going to have to argue about things, and the whole point is, and again, I get on my box about this. When my son is 16 one day and we're fighting about something, we can still talk about the Kings. When my daughter and me are in an argument about something real, for 2 hours we can forget about it and we can come watch 5 guys with a purple suit on throw a stupid round thing into a stupid round hole and forget about all that. And when you bring these real things into that arena, now we can't. And that's why we pay thousands of dollars to sit.
So
in
do
a-
you fire him?
Yeah, and how would you not? I mean, how could you have that around? And man, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'll stop now.
So what would you
Now,
do?
now here, what's your answer? I bet it's shorter.
Couldn't have said it any better.
I mean, I bet I go. Yeah.
I'm glad you went first. You set the bar high enough to. I disagree with him.
I mean,
What if, and I agree 100% as well. You have to get rid of him, regardless of owing Dave Yeager money, regardless of owing all these player
bro,
monies.
money's just money.
Right. You have to do the right thing, and you have to get rid of him, regardless of how much guarantee money he has on his contract. It doesn't matter
That's-
because
yeah.
this comes down to morality. This comes down to people.
There's
Period.
a real person
Right.
who is injured by this, whether it is her or whether it is him.
Yeah.
Someone right now is being wronged. Who that is yet to be determined. But somebody right this second, whether it's his life being ruined by a false accusation or whether it's her life being ruined by actually
So
having,
let's flip that question.
regardless of what
What
happened.
if this is false? This is more of an attention thing. Because it's happened plenty of times in the past. What does this do to Luke Walton, and how does the
Well,
organization respond?
The problem again with these type of accusations is whether they're right or wrong. They'll never go away in that sense. It'll always be mentioned now as a side note to his name. It's
Always.
I
Just
mean,
like
it just
Kobe.
doesn't.
Like,
Yeah,
we
I was
still
just gonna
talk
say
about
we
that.
talked about it before
Yeah.
we went live about Kobe, and I'm sure
Ben
that there's
Roethlisberger.
10 people out there who can
Yeah.
answer this. But what happened with the Kobe thing? And you're like, I don't remember. I know he was charged. I don't actually remember. Like, you'd have to really think about it. But you always remember that piece. So if he's not guilty, if it didn't happen, if it's all fake, man, I don't know what you do to clear your name. I know as an organization, if he's innocent, of course you keep him. I mean, why wouldn't you? But as a human being, if that had happened to me, I have no idea. How do you fix that? How do you prove to somebody that you're not that guy? I don't know.
We recently had something similar with Darren Collison.
Yeah.
And I thought we handled it the right way. He did his time in the community. He was giving back to that, to the community that he actually did.
Yeah.
What was it? It was
domestic.
domestic,
Yeah.
right?
And the exact, man, it's been 2 years. My brain
Right,
is,
mine too.
but I know. But again, when you bring it up, all we remember is
That he was accused.
Darren Collison had a domestic violence thing, and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, what were the facts on that again?
Yeah.
I don't know, but every time I think of his name now, that's there. And so
My brain.
we
just
come back
connects it.
to, and I'll harp on this until I die, and no one will ever fix it. But that's why I think verbiage is so important, is because if we had words that meant specific things, we would be able to say Kobe Bryant was accused of X, whereas it's different for this guy or this guy, and you would know specifics as opposed to, I remember there was a rape charge. I don't remember any of the details. I don't remember, and 90% of the people don't, and that's just how it is. And why is that? I don't know. And yeah,
7 minutes. We're 7 minutes.
we better
in.
get serious about some King stuff instead
NBA
of talking
free
about like
agency. We're talking
hypothetical-
from here to the end of the show. NBA free agency, because I know a lot of people have been DMing us about it, and they want to know what we think. Who should the Kings target? What are they gonna do, Joe? Give me your top 3 free agency targets.
free agency. There's 10 players who are signed with the Kings right now. 10.
Sound like a Laker fan.
Bro, you have 5 spots. There's a lot of holes to fill. How many centers do we have on the roster right now?
So Kosa's coming off the books.
Yeah. Willie's.
Willie's coming off the books. That's 2. Alec Burke is 3. Harrison has a player option.
Oh, Alec Burks is coming off as a free agent. I'm like, he's not a center. I don't know how long you've been.
That's
It's a
3.
little too short. I don't know.
10 official players on the roster.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's.
That will be.
I can actually tell you because I wrote them down because I was laughing this morning about there's only 10 dudes. So we have Fox, Farrell, Mason, Bogey, Buddy, Barnes, Bagley, Bielitsa, and Giles. That's our 10 right now. Now, obviously, biggest hole, first hole is whether or not you keep Willie. I mean, that's number one thought because that changes literally
think?
everything else you do. So
He's gonna be able to test the market, right?
Sure, but if you're the organization, do you keep him? Yes
you
or no?
You keep him at a certain number. Once someone.
What's your number, man?
Yeah,
Someone
what's your,
overpays him.
What's your number, you man?
My,
Let's put you on the
my
spot.
number all year was 11 to 15, 13 to be a middleman.
see, I think you're going over. I think you're going
year?
over value. Yeah. So look, qualifying
Today's
offer.
NBA, that's not bad.
Qualifying offer is 6.2. Look at the other guys that you can get in the $13 million range, and I always feel bad because these are human beings with lives and
And
stuff.
we're like talking
and we
like if
talk
they're a
about them
game
like
or something.
Well, but like this
Yeah.
is gold. I
Yeah.
would like gold instead of silver today because of the value. And you feel horrible. Like I'm not trying to talk bad about the guy. He seems nice. Everything's cool, but at that value, what production can you get? And instead of saying Willie Cauley-Stein and feeling bad about talking about a human being, talk about just his production numbers and what you can buy production-wise for that money.
Right.
And I think production-wise, you
This
can
is
get
not
more.
personal. Like,
Yeah,
we
exactly.
love
Like,
Willie, period.
And that's
Yeah.
where I say I feel bad quantifying a human being for money, but you can quantify his production and how many points does he get? How many I mean, that can be, what would you
They
call
get
that?
compensated well enough for us to actually do this. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Joe, you don't have
No,
to
I know.
apologize.
And
Do you say my number's too high? 13?
So he said 13's too high.
I think it's substantially
Your
too high.
number is what?
Maybe 7.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
7.5.
low.
No, it's not.
That's-
7.5 is the
now
right
that's
price. point.
disrespectful. All right, Willie.
Bro.
we do apologize, Willie, for that one. Well, all right.
No, look,
I'm trying to go on
Look
Matt's
at
bet.
the other
Hey,
names in that price range and see what you can get. And
You're not getting
and
none better than
I know, and I know you're not going to get him for that, but that's my whole point. Is that's why I think he can get better money somewhere else that he'll fit
he's
better at.
10 to 11 million. No more than
I
that.
understand that,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm saying the Kings shouldn't pay
I
that.
think the higher you go, though, the more leverage you have over him.
So what the
team
Kings are gonna
option-
do? So what the Kings are gonna do? They're gonna just let him test the market.
Exactly.
If someone offers him a contract, and if it's not the number that you like, thank you for
Let
your
him walk.
time.
So short answer is, do you give him a qualifying offer?
No.
Okay.
Do you give him an offer?
I already said
Yeah,
to
so
a max
no.
number.
All right. No.
So you do then? You're
No.
saying yes,
No,
but
he's saying no.
No.
Yeah, he's
okay, because
he's
I'm
saying
I'm
no.
on the no bus too.
Okay.
Now I'm not saying he doesn't deserve more money than the 7.5. That's not what I meant. I meant
You just want to
that's-
move on. That's
Yeah.
to me. That's what it feels like.
Yes.
Okay.
That's yes.
Okay.
That's the answer.
So who's your top 3 free agents?
I'd go number 1 would be Brook Lopez.
Okay. Go ahead.
I like his speed for the
I love him.
For the
We-
team.
We both love him.
yeah,
But
but I don't think that's gonna happen.
he's
I mean,
staying.
You're on a team that has a really pretty high likelihood of maybe
A lot of
wearing one of
guys on
these
that team.
beautiful rings at the end of it.
There's a lot of guys that we'd like on that team.
And they're all
Malcolm-
options.
There's one that is
Malcolm
there's
Brogdon,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Chris Middleton.
Brooke.
Brooke, Eric Bledsoe. Oh, Eric Bledsoe's just got
Eric Bledsoe's
extension.
just
Nah.
He's
No, I wouldn't go with Bledsoe.
Me
The
neither.
other ones I'd
But-
agree with.
They're gonna bring all the guys back.
I think so. Yeah.
Well,
That's pretty.
how could they
likely.
not? I mean,
They're gonna be
if
in the
you're-
finals.
If yeah, if
And
you go to the finals,
And I'm gonna say it right now. If Malcolm comes back, they're gonna beat the Warriors. Hot take.
I hope they do with all of
They're
my
gonna
heart,
beat
I
the
hope they
Warriors.
do.
In
If
7.
Malcolm comes back before Boston, they might go. But I think Boston will give them a run for their money.
Well, and this conversation happened the other day. I don't even remember who I was talking to, but Boston has a lot of guys who've been there. Boston has a lot of guys who understand what's happening
Who?
around them,
They have one guy who's been there.
leadership wise.
Sure, Al Horford I guess counts, but they have one guy, and
Name-
their team
name
is
the Bucks.
extremely young. Nobody.
Name the Bucks who can even buy alcohol. Like,
Right. But
like-
but the Bucks are well coached. They have the MVP of the league,
I,
and I just think
I think they
even
win the
without
whole thing.
Malcolm-
Honestly, I'm being
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm being
if the
argumentative
Celtics
for the sake of
won
it, but I think they win the
Nah,
whole
that's
thing.
good.
games.
7 games Bucks.
Nah, I think Celtics.
They're-
If they don't have Brogdon, I wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics.
So
beat
you're
them.
saying right now?
I would not be surprised.
No,
if
no.
the
So
Celtics
I don't care about. Are you saying the Celtics are gonna beat the Bucks?
in 7. Yes.
Wow.
So
All right, guys. This is
here's
gonna be
where
interesting.
recency bias
Okay,
comes
but
in.
let's get back full circle.
Yeah.
We like
Okay.
Brooke.
We love Brooke. Go ahead.
We all like Brooke.
Okay.
Okay, but
number
recency
2?
bias, you can't see what Giannis did last night and not fall in love with that kid and know he can carry a team. Kyrie's the only one that can carry Boston. But all right,
Yeah.
pull out
Which
my
is
list.
shocking.
Pull out
That,
my list.
I'm shocked right now that he's saying on camera that
Injuries are real, bro. Injuries are real, and Boston's super healthy, and Milwaukee isn't.
they have one guy that's out. They're super deep.
It's critical to their team, bro.
Eric Bledsoe's playing out of his mind. Go ahead. Go ahead. I think Bledsoe's gonna.
But
stop
can he
that.
hold that?
Celtics have bodies on bodies on bodies.
Do they though?
They do.
Do they though?
You got,
I'm
bro,
gonna use a
you
joke.
got-
Do
you
they
got-
though?
you got such a starting
They got my
power.
favorite backup center in the league right now, Aaron Baines. I love that kid.
So are you signing Baines? Is that number 2?
No, because he doesn't
You
fit
got
this team's.
Rozier, who's going to be
I
a
don't-
starting point guard next year, coming off the bench.
I like him a lot, but I like him in the way that I like Jack Cooley, where I think the guy bleeds before he leaves the floor.
That's true.
That's why
Love
I'm
that
in love
guy.
with him. Not as much about
Fit.
play style or fit or anything.
Okay.
Just because if you were in a bar and in a fight, Baines is a cool dude to have next to you because he looks like he's gonna throw down.
Yeah,
Like he
he's-
just looks like he
He's
has
throwing
the-
down.
Yeah,
You don't care if he's Steven
Yeah, you know
Adams.
what I mean?
He's throwing
He
down.
looks like he could. if he wasn't good at basketball, he could have been a hockey player. Like he has
Yeah.
that look to me. Where
or even an MMA fighter.
exactly.
So who's number 2?
Are we just talking centers? And
No,
and are we talking like
Everything.
Man, I didn't
So
put
was
the list
Brooke.
together.
So was Brooke
Brooks
number
one.
Okay.
I want,
period.
and
Okay, that's fair.
we're talking reasonable. We're talking not guys that are
20 minutes already?
man, we're just going having fun here. You're gonna have a lot of editing. Have fun with that. I would say my next in line, and there's no chance we could get him, it'd be Vooch. Vooch is maybe my favorite center in the league right now to watch.
I don't like that move. I don't, bro. I don't think he fits stylistically. I'd rather have Marvin Bagley play the bulk of the minutes at the 5.
I agree with you
because
completely.
if you bring in Vooch, that means more Bagley at the 4, and I hate that Bagley. I just hate to say
I
it.
like him at the 5.
I don't like Bagley at the 4.
But who do you play at the 4?
You play Harrison Barnes at the 4.
So what do you do with Giles? Backup 4?
Backup 4 or 5, it don't matter.
Back up big.
Backup big, rotational big. Look at the Nets. Remember, you and me had the argument. I said the Nets are better than the Kings today, and there is no debate. Why? Because they
There's
have
a debate.
They have 3 guards.
There's a huge debate.
2 of their best 3 players come off the bench, and Spencer, and then other kid Levert. So both those guys.
Levert can shoot.
No, he can play. So they got 3 guys that are guards
I like
that
how
are
there's no
essentially.
debate. There's a big debate. We could have another 20 minutes just about
That's
this
fine,
conversation.
but that's my point. Why not? I hate when people just, let's just label him as our starting 5 or who cares? The point is, we're gonna label Marvin as a power forward to start games in his career, but he's gonna play the bulk of the minutes at the 5 because he's a great.
So then you go
he's
what?
a great rebounder.
Fox, Buddy, Bogey, Harrison,
Bagley.
Bags.
My thing is
fast.
my
Man,
number
that's
1
fast.
target, believe it or not, is Bojan. I would love to get Bojan.
It would be fun to have
And now I'm
both
starting.
of the Bogdanoviches.
Now I'm starting. Our backcourt, obviously, Bojan and Harrison.
So you have Bogdan come off the bench.
I'm having Bogdan come off the bench. Now you're a netish type team where
Who's the one
your
that
guards
bodies
are
up
good.
against the bigger centers in the league?
Right. That's when
Who
I
do you
bring
do
in
that?
a backup like a Baines that can come in and bang with your backups. Right. That's what I would do because in today's NBA you need a lot of wings, and the Kings.
The speed of this team.
The Kings don't have enough wings, in my opinion.
One of the notes that I brought, because I bring notes because I don't wing things, but
No pun intended.
yeah, exactly. Joe doesn't do it.
We
the
love
same way.
wings.
Is this year they were 114.2 on points per game, and the year before they were 98.8.
Yeah, that's because it has Zebo.
Their primary scoring option.
At 14 points a game. So I don't even need notes for that. That's how much I couldn't sleep at night. I'm like, wait, what? What?
Come on, that wasn't a good
They
move.
always thought about
But-
just play scout.
Just play scout.
By the way, that last game, Portland here,
God
it was fun to watch him finally do something. You know, because
That's-
I've been
he's
rooting
such
for
a
that
great
kid.
human being,
Yeah,
man.
I've been
Like,
rooting
that
for that
kid
kid
is-
for a long time.
Yeah. His backstory is great.
What was it? 2 years ago we talked to him, and it was a fun conversation.
Yeah,
but
he's a good kid.
he motivates me. But now defensively,
They're
they
terrible.
didn't get that much better. They still got better.
They ranked
But-
26th, right? They were
20th defensive efficiency.
efficiency. I'm talking about points allowed. So they were 26th. So they allowed a lot of points this year.
Yeah, they might have. Yeah, they were 26 exactly.
Yeah. Which is not good.
At the same time, you know, defensive efficiency, when you talk about the pace of the game and when you talk about, you know, how fast they're moving and you're running all small guys, you're gonna give up something, but you can get a lot tighter. And that's where we hope Luke Walton can actually fix that, because he can do that.
He's better with his defensive principles. I've looked up.
So offense fixed itself.
Okay.
And now defense is here, and we bring in a coach that can maybe bring that up. And if that happens, you have a really good team.
Now, both you and I talked about the Kings possibly trying to get to 18 or under in that area on defense. They didn't do that, and we're both very clear about that. We said if they don't get to 18 at least, they're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. They weren't good enough on defense.
You
Their
know what?
wings aren't they're just not good.
I'll do a little throwback down to my kid. So my 7-year-old is on a team called the Dogs, DAWGS. Defense always wins games. He's on the Dogs. Defense always wins games. And that's just the truth. YBA, which another plug. If you have a kid that needs to learn how to play basketball, I think they're the best academy. The youth basketball academy there in Rockland, they're amazing. So yeah, they're a
Shout out
fun
to you
team.
guys.
Yeah, shout out to the YBA. Shout out to Ken and Eric G. They're both amazing. But Defense always wins games. It's just the truth. That's just how championships are won. You can win games with offense, but you win championships with defense.
How talented the Warriors are.
No, that's
defensive. Like it's
people
insane.
are always like, "Oh, Steph can shoot from 300 feet away." With
They got
of course he
5
can.
elite defenders.
Yeah,
Like
that's
5 of them. Defensive Player of the Year, Draymond Green. Klay Thompson, the most underrated defender in the game. Sean Livingston, Andre Iguodala.
I get him excited about this. By the way, it's fun to watch him get like
pisses me
his
off.
tail
It's like,
wags.
Now I'm like, wait, they're great defensively. That was the switch. That was the I'm taking this team to the next level type thing. Yeah. They can score, which is fine, but can you defend when it matters? And they did.
And what happened in that Clippers game the other day where they were up by 1 million and they lost the game?
31
they
points.
Forgot to
Imagine what the
play
spread was
defense.
at that point.
Can you?
Can you imagine that?
I
It was probably
love
like plus
betting
6. It was like plus
mid-game.
6,000, huh?
Yeah, betting mid-game is so much
Not be
fun.
here right now.
And if you, I would. Big smile, toothy grin.
Yeah.
But their defense needs to be fixed, and that's why you brought in Luke Walton. That's exactly why he came in. So we can go back and forth on this stuff 100 times, but at the end of the day, defense will win. And
I personally don't think with the players we have, they're gonna get better defensively.
I think they're going to get
You got
better.
guys
I'm
who
not
go
talking about
well
defensive.
laterally.
I'm not talking about top 5 defense, but you are talking about they're going to get better. They can't get much worse.
I think it's who you have. You don't have those type of players. These actual good defenses.
So I'll tell you another thing about children. I pay my son for steals. I don't pay him for points. I pay him for steals. You know why?
Well,
You can
steals
force that stat. I can force that
See,
stat.
Rondo gets steals, but he's
If I want
terrible
what's in your
defensively.
pocket and I'm on you, hey. But there's a different. I'm just saying that motivation, that level of effort, that effort
kids,
level
yes.
of being on somebody the whole time, knowing that I'm gonna know what kind of gum you're chewing. I'm gonna know
Right.
you, and you're gonna be agitated by
But
the end of the game.
sometimes steals can be an outlying stat.
I get that as,
You know what I
as a
mean?
pro, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
Very fast.
I'm talking about
Like,
it's
what
about
team
it's about
runs
effort.
super fast and then also is like top 15 in defense.
None. This is hard.
It's like
But
it's a
can
give
you
and
be?
take with your situation.
No, can you be?
If you're running every
Stats
play-
wise, you're not going to be because you have a higher pace, so you're going to lose. Points wise, you're going to obviously the team's going to score more points because you are. But I'm talking about can you be a better defender, 1-on-1, possession by possession? Can you put more effort into not letting that one guy?
You can.
Look,
You can.
and I don't care if you're talking about fighting. I don't care if you're talking.
That's my thing. Our players, I don't know if they can. Minus Fox.
See,
Athletically, you're talking
Yes.
God-given athletics.
Harry, Belita, Bogdan.
But
he's
again,
not
you're
gonna
always
throw
talking
laterally.
about their ability to stop somebody. I get in front of Kevin Durant. Me, right now, I get in front of Kevin Durant.
Yes.
He's going to score on me. But my level of effort can still determine if he makes 100
So
or
you're
99.
saying our effort's trash.
Not trash, but it can go up. It can always go up. You can always put in more. You can always put in more.
So you're saying if their effort goes up, they're going to be a top 15 defensive team.
I don't try to put words in my mouth, Leo. Okay, I play this
Flip
game
side
too.
is if you get a couple more calls on the offensive end, you become a really good team.
But you can
That's just what
always.
they're lacking when I watch.
You can always put 1 more % in. There's a great book, The 1% Solution, and read it if you haven't. But you can always put in 1 more %. Yeah, whoever wrote that, there's a free plug for whoever. I don't know.
1%.
The 1% Solution is a great book,
So-
but it's everything you do in your life. You can put
1 more percent.
1 more % in every
Which is
single day.
true.
And if you do that, you will be the best. I just hit the mic, so that probably made a cool sound. So everybody out there listening, that was because I'm awesome.
Okay, number 3. You have Brooke.
Well,
You have Brooke.
we've just made
Vucevic.
it.
Who's your number
Welcome.
3 guy?
Man, I don't
Please
know.
be
I've
a
lost
wing.
track of everything.
Please
be a
be
wing.
a wing. Please stop, Vlade.
Why am I going 3 in a row? Why are you people not talking
Vlade
at all?
Morgan, stop it.
Bro, we need somebody to be a big. I think we already have. The top half of our roster is already looking really good. My opinion.
More
The top half of the Kings roster.
I
is
guess
not
it's
my roster. I don't
philosophy.
work there.
Small forward position, you think they're settled.
Can you do better? Well, yeah, you can always do better. But
Yeah,
no,
you
I
can.
like
A lot
the
better.
youth, and I like the fact that name a player that can keep up with this pace that is better
Every
than
player can. You just
No.
got to bring them in. Yes, they can. Like you said, if they run the same
Okay, let me restate
from
that.
training camp,
Let me
they will
restate
be in
that.
shape. Trust me.
Name a
If-
player who's willing. to do
They
that.
have to. If they're not, bye. There's a door.
Okay, but that's you're talking
Everybody-
millions of dollars. You don't buy a Ferrari not knowing if it has tires. Like, I want to
you
know if
can
you can already
But
keep
you can
up.
buy tires.
Oh, you're killing me. We can just play this game all day. All right, well, okay, name me a wing that you want on this team.
Athletically, I guess that argument to me, it comes down to like Vooch. I don't think Vooch, stylistically speaking, can keep up with the pace. Now, if you give me any other wing who's semi-athletic, they'll keep.
Semi-athletic.
they'll-
They're the NBA. I hope they're
Right.
semi-athletic.
They'll be fine as long as they come to the team by training camp, and if Luke
Name.
applies, if Luke applies the same principles as Dave Yeager did, which Buddy would be like, this dude would make us run a lot. So if Luke makes him run a lot, I think me and him can just run circles. If I can get in shape like that, if I was in that type of environment.
For the right paycheck.
I'll do
You give me vet
I'll do
minimum.
for $100,000 a year.
Yeah, you can
I-
pay
I'm
me
good.
vet minimum. I'll run.
I'll run all day long, and I feel like that's very doable.
No, I
So-
do agree with that, but I meant there's
Does
still.
that
But a
apply
big
to-
to me is different. A big is like, okay, you have to slow the game down for Vooch because now you have a guy who can score inside the paint, who's going to command so much attention from a game plan from the opposing team. So I'm like, you have to change how you play if you bring in Vooch. There's no question about it. And that's fine. If you intend to do that, that's cool. But if you intend to be
Whereas
this,
Lopez fits.
which Lopez just fits perfectly.
Name another big that fits though. That's one of the problems. And that is
Sabonis.
a free agent this year.
My guy Sabonis. Sabonis would be the ideal fit. He's super young, and he can score inside the post. He can play defense. He gets you rebounds. He's going to stay in his lane, which that means play his role. I'm not throwing shots at anybody. And
Saying that, you are.
Yeah, that sounded very much like a.
No one brought it up.
I'm just saying, this kid would be the ideal fit. If
Remember
you,
Just because he said, oh, no, God.
Remember the 5 Ds of dodgeball. Somebody needs
That's
to
a
duck
shot.
right now. Yeah.
So that's my guy. If I would rather throw max money at him than Vooch, who is
Max money.
Oh yeah, who's 29.
Okay. All right.
This guy's 24.
Man, there's a lot of money in this league right now.
Yeah, I mean, when I say max money, I'm not saying like 30. I'm saying like probably like 17 mil, 18 mil, because that's
Okay.
what the damn market's ridiculous. But I don't make these rules.
Yeah. Hey,
I get it. I understand. Like that's way too much money. Harrison Barnes will probably
That's-
get an extension that this summer. That
That's
would
one of
be
the issues
$18
with what we
million.
said earlier with Willie is it's hard for my brain to catch up. So when I say 7.5 and you're like, that's an insult, I'm like, an insult? And then, yeah, I guess in today's
3
market,
years
like
ago,
you forget,
yes.
you forget how big this market got
So it doubled,
so
okay?
fast. So bear
to
with me.
you, he's 7 million. 3 years ago, he was 14. 3 years ago, sorry. Today he's 14 million. 3 years ago, he was 7 million. That makes sense.
It's just
Your
because it's
brain
crazy.
your brain just stopped there.
Yeah, because it's hard to like. You want $100 million? What do you do? Like Jordan didn't. What are you talking about? And then yeah, that's
Exactly.
just the number that people get now. So,
So I would want Bojan. I would want Sabonis. I think Sabonis fits just stylistically. He fits.
you like him better than Lopez? If you had to flip a coin between the two right now,
Well, I know that if they ever do bring Lopez, it's going to be short term, and if they bring Sabonis, it's going to be long term. Just because that's
Yeah, no,
that's what they're going to. He is restricted.
and you'd rather have
I
him.
would go with short
But
term.
see, with Indiana, if you look at their situation, they have a lot of guys. They're over the cap, right? They got Bojan that's coming off, and they just extended Miles Turner, so they have to make a decision because they can't afford both guys. It's a blessing and a curse at the same time. Like we have to get rid of one of those two dudes. And I would love either of those two guys on this team. Don't get me wrong.
That'd be a nice landing spot for him.
Yeah. So either way, I think Sabonis would be a nice fit. He is restricted. They're probably gonna just match, right, and then trade him and get assets because you don't want to lose him for nothing. So I get that. Willie's not the same situation. They're not gonna get much assets if they
At
do.
the
sign
same
him,
time, though, they don't have the money to really match what
what the Kings can offer him.
Yeah. So
Unless they just let go of Bojan, which then the Kings can just go 3-year deal, pay him $18 million per season, which I don't think is ridiculous. I really don't. I know you think it's ridiculous if you pay Bojan $18 million per year, but
I
if
don't
you
know.
do,
You have
3
the money.
years-
What are you going to do with it? You have to spend it. I mean, there is.
Don't you believe in like front-loaded money though? Like
Yeah,
I would
because
give
because it gives you
someone-
more options at the end.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you have it this year, spend as much. I don't understand the cap deep enough, man. You talk. You look at the guys like Bobby
Didn't
Marks
the
who
Kings have
understand
11
it.
million left over?
They
Like,
did,
all season.
and they ended up kind of giving it to the Mavericks in that trade when they got rid of JJ.
But that's what I mean. There's so many like if this then that kind of things where if we pay this much we can front load it on this contract,
Right.
but like we still owe. I was just
Papa
looking at it.
Giannis.
No, but there's somebody else on the books that was like he's still getting paid by this team. I
Right.
can't even remember who it was. I looked this morning, but. There's
Okay.
things like that, like the cap hold for Willie. If you don't renounce him immediately, you owe him like there's a 14 million cap hold, so you can't sign any other contract. Like there's all these crazy.
Harrison Barnes, player option. What do you do if you're Vlade? Do you just offer him that contract right now, or do you wait and see if he's the right fit?
I wait.
You wait.
I always wait.
Okay. Cool.
I always wait as long as I can because you just never know what tomorrow brings. I mean, and you start throwing around big money, and now you're locked into it. And I get that then he could go somewhere else. Well, yeah, but then things always work out in the end. So
What'd you do?
Uh,
I'm an optimist.
I'd keep him.
I would keep him
You would
I do
extend him
Yeah.
this summer?
Yeah.
Me too.
No doubt. Without hesitating.
this summer.
He's a wing.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're hard to come by, bro. And he's
They're hard
already
to
here.
come by. They're hard to come by. Guys who can shoot a basketball, they're hard to come by.
Well,
You know that there's
And defend.
there's this whole league built up around the fact that men can put balls in the basket. I mean,
me.
like there's this whole
they can
group of
sign me for cheap. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I
Like-
seen you on the
At
the
6'8".
short list of coaches, and they just went right over you and hired Luke. It was
Like-
crazy.
That's
Now
crazy.
that's great.
Talking about coaching, I do want to start my coaching career very soon. I'm looking. So if you know any high schools that are,
I know a place that you can. I just mentioned them earlier. I know a place where because there's coaches there with like 5 teams and need help. So
high school.
we'll talk.
High school
No,
teams?
you start younger. It's always better to start
I
younger.
want to start high school. I want to start in high school. I
Greedy.
do.
No,
I
see,
do.
you start young so you can by the time you get up to
Need a coach?
no honestly by
If
the time
need a
you
coach, let me know.
that way by the time you get up to wanting to coach high school, you've brought them up into your system instead of starting with random kids. Like I'm all about start them in second grade and bring them up your way, and then
That's a
you
fair
move up
point.
with them.
fair
And then
point.
when you have them in high school, you're smoke checking people because they already know your moves. Instead of hey, let's take a bunch of freshmen and try to teach them a whole new system that you designed. Well, no, but we're so far off subject. So
It's
about
okay.
those free agents that we were talking about.
It's all good. So we're not going to talk about the draft today because
It would take us 6 hours.
All free agency. Is there anyone else that's under your radar?
Yeah, another guy from the Pacers, Young. Thaddeus Young.
That's a good one.
I like him.
See the Pacers, right? They got
So you just want to buy the Pacers, basically?
Yeah.
Just bring
And
the
just, like,
Pacers
pick
over?
They're all solid pieces.
hey
They're-
Tyreek as a backup. As a backup,
He's not up there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say no to that.
the disrespect
The
to the man who
disrespect.
won rookie. I'm just joking. I like him.
Joking.
He
I
has one
like
of my
him.
favorite shots in Kings history. So,
Right.
I mean, he has that.
So they
going
got
for him.
Thaddeus, they got Sabonis, they got Tyreek, they got Boyan. They got some bodies that the Kings would be able to use, right? Is there anyone else?
around the whole league besides Indiana.
Oh, besides like the Clays, the KDs of the world. which are not gonna
those don't
come.
exist.
Yeah,
Those
don't
aren't
exist.
real.
Off the
Yeah,
bench.
I'd like to get KD. Yeah,
Off
we
the
know.
bench.
Like,
Another guy, Patrick Beverly, which everyone's gonna want. And if I'm him, why would I leave? No. Like if I'm him, I'm staying in LA. I'm sorry.
Off the bench. Would you bring back Rudy Gay?
I like it. I do.
I love Rudy Gay, but I don't see him
Leaving the Spurs.
wanting to A, be here, or B. Yeah, I
It's
mean,
a new front office.
You don't want to go in basketball hell.
I don't think it
Oh,
is anymore.
God.
And every time I say I don't think it is, like literally, we were talking
Stuff
about the
like
show
that
notes. Like,
happens. You're like, wait, what?
you're like,
Stop.
and you look at your watch, or you look at your phone, and it's like, you're like, really?
Look at Joe with this damn iWatch. You look at your watch.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Is that bragging?
Flossing out here.
It's like 2019. Who doesn't have like? And then I look around, y'all know,
Don't know.
killing me.
No, no.
And I look around.
Yeah.
Spend all your money on this shiny stuff, huh? The sticker that's coming off.
Yeah. So, rookie of the year, Luka Doncic or Trae Young?
Trae Young.
Cut. Cut. Luka Doncic or Trae Young?
Trey Young.
All right, man. It's definitely Luka Doncic.
Luka.
MVP, James Harden, Giannis.
James Harden.
Stop.
No, bro, he had
Now
more to
you're
do with.
joking.
Look,
Stop.
no.
Now
Listen,
you're joking,
listen.
right?
Honestly,
Please.
look.
He can't
Is
make argument
it-
for this man.
Is it more important to be the most important piece of your team? You just said something about Giannis a minute ago. Everybody on that team is good. So you're not the most important thing to happen to that team. If there was no James Harden on the Rockets, they would be in 10th place, 11th place. They would not be in the playoffs right now. He is the most valuable person on a team, which is what that's what
That's
the
still
MVP
debatable.
means.
Giannis out of the Bucks. where
I'm
are
not
they
saying the
playing?
best player in the league. I'm saying the most valuable asset
take-
on a team.
But you take him
Take him out of that team. What do
and
they
they're-
do right now?
And they're an 18 in the East. They're not a playoff team in the West. The Bucks aren't.
No. In the West?
No,
way.
no. But the Bucks have other assets where if Giannis went down for a week, they're not going to lose every game. If James Harden isn't on the Rockets,
In the East, I get you.
tell me the Rockets.
In the East,
skip,
I get
like-
you. Sure, but
The Bucks
unfortunately,
wouldn't do anything in the West either.
No, of
without
course not.
Giannis.
But most of the East wouldn't do anything in the West. That's not the.
Like,
I mean,
you took this Rockets
but
team,
all
you
I'm
put
saying
them-
is
you put them in
comparative
the,
scale
if you took the Rockets and put them in the East, they'd be fine.
they'd be fine.
without James Harden.
Without
Yeah.
James Harden.
Bro, Chris Paul.
8 seed.
Chris
Yeah.
Paul's
East.
injured as much as he's not. Now name the
what's
next guy on that team. Name the guy who puts them on their back and carries them. Do you remember his
bro.
usage
Eric
percentage when he was
Eric
alone?
Gordon's a stud. People disrespect the man, but it's like,
Eric Gordon is a hit or miss stud. There's days where he's amazing, and there's days where the
I
guy
don't get
is
you.
not
That's
he's
enough in the
consist-
East.
he's
That's
consistent
enough in the East, but they're not in the East.
look,
I mean,
my
Giannis
issue with
is
James
just
Harden,
Giannis is just as important as
I
Harden.
can't respect a man whose biggest skill set is to deceive a referee. There is no way in hell I'm going to reward him.
So then, how do you like soccer again?
That's fine. I'm just saying this is basketball. This is why that's soccer. If he
This
was
is
playing
why
soccer,
LeBron, like I was in the
oh my
Kings.
beard, oh he just hit me, bro. Come on, stop. He's an embarrassment to our game. People who actually love this game, no, seriously, he is. 75% of 25% of his game is deceiving.
But you did not ask me whether or not I liked the man. You did not ask me whether or not I thought he was the best player in the
Does
league.
that-
What you asked me
validating
was,
why
I'm
he's not
validating
the-
why he's not the MVP of the league because most of his points come off of bullshit calls. Giannis earns. You see what Giannis does?
yeah, last night I certainly did.
No,
Ju-
he did that all year though. He
Bro,
earns his
bro,
buckets.
he was my first pick of my fantasy league. I
gets
love the guy.
hacked. He gets fouled. James doesn't. James has a skill set that's insane.
But
I
the
get
most
it, but it's
valuable player-
it's a deceiving skill set.
The most valuable player is not the best player. The most valuable player is the guy who, if you took him off of his team would be
Verbiage. Okay.
substantially worse.
Going back full circle to verbiage.
So you ask
what
me,
does that mean?
the most valuable player
always
is the
the
person
debate.
who causes the most wins for their team single-handedly.
Giannis. They're the number one team in the East. They beat every single team in the West.
But
this
without
year.
him, they would not have lost as many as the Rockets would have lost without James
I
Harden.
don't agree with that.
How do you know
Then
that,
that's-
though?
yeah.
How do you even know that?
Because
How do I know that? Because
What we
look
know
at
is
usage rate. The usage rate of James Harden when Chris Paul was hurt was like 57%.
That's called a Mike D'Antoni offense. That's a scheme to give the ball.
scheme.
That's to give the ball to James Harden, break down the defense.
Okay,
Hey James,
all
do
right.
whatever you want to do.
So the short answer is agree to disagree, but the long answer is
It's very fair.
if you took any human being in the world, and you gave them a 53% usage rate, I would love to see Giannis's stats if he had a 53% usage
Yeah,
rate.
I'd
I would
love that
pay.
too.
They'd be
I would
better.
pay a lot. No, he'd be amazing. That's what I mean. It would be amazing.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He didn't need
But
that
that's
because he's on a team.
Is a
but
better
he's
coach,
on a team
and I'm taking
with
shots
other players
at Mike
who are
D'Antoni.
good.
Yeah, I am.
The debate is settled.
I'm taking shots.
Budenheiser is a better head coach.
I would rather. Okay, let's try a different question. Who would you draft first? Giannis. I agree with you. Yeah,
No doubt.
No question. So I like him better. I think he's a better player, but I don't think
Who
he
would you
should
start
win
your
MVP.
fantasy team with?
Giannis.
Okay.
Who would you build your 2K team
Every
around?
answer is Giannis.
Okay.
But that's
There it
not.
is.
But that's not what the MVP stands for. You're the most valuable player on your team.
So
Verbiage.
Every year
Verbiage.
for, like,
Okay.
the past 5
There
years,
is no clear, nobody even knows what MVP means nowadays.
Well, and they should. That's
People
why
are
we
like,
use words. That's why words
playoffs,
exist.
like-
if what you're saying is true, are you saying Kevin Durant was the most important player to that Warriors team?
No, because again, I think
Why
that
did he get MVP?
Because people don't agree with how I would vote if I was voting. You
I
asked
think
me
your
my
way
vote.
of voting is flawed. This is
Or
the way.
you think my
Giannis
way
is
of
the
voting?
MVP. It's
Bro.
settled.
Oh no.
Giannis is the MVP, and it's not even close.
I
This
think
guy-
you're right that he will win it. I'm just telling you that I think that the way that is worded and what it should be is different.
No, I just think, like, again, going back to my point about James Harden being the player he is, like, again, I think he's a great player. Don't mix it up. Like, he's a great player.
That's a hot take. James Harden is a good player. Leo B is hot take number 1.
Great. I said great. I'm just saying, though, the way he plays the game is disrespectful to all the all-time greats.
Man, I do
And
not
they all
want to go
say
down.
it, though.
I don't want to
I'm
go
not
down
the
this
only one
road
that says
because
it.
we have a long time that this would take to talk. But disrespectful players, we could have a whole. You're telling me that the entire league isn't broken right now with disrespect?
Right. And
So
I
one
get it,
guy
like,
being the face of that, no, I think no.
he is the
I
face
know.
of that, though. Literally, like, the face of it. And the referees buy because he's so marketable. And it makes sense. They make more money if he's in the playoffs. I get it. I get the business aspect. But when you talk to an NBA enthusiast, that person will say he's disrespecting the game because of how he plays the game. Period.
So who should? No.
If you don't think he's disrespecting the game, because you grew up a certain way watching basketball.
I think 80% of the league is disrespecting the game. If you talk to a referee and your name isn't coach, you piss me off. But that's a whole nother. I could go
That's
off
a
on
whole
that.
different conversation. I'm talking about how he
So
plays.
all the fake hacks and all that nonsense.
He
I
has
think you should be
7,000 points on free throws.
7,000 points on free throws.
That's a crazy stat.
That is a crazy stat.
I didn't know that.
Come on, bro.
That's insane.
There's no way he gets hit. If he was Giannis, I'd be like, if he was Shaq, he'd be like, okay, dude's in the paint getting smacked left and right. But he's not, which is why I get so upset about him. It's like, bro,
Okay.
you don't have to
You
do
have
that.
a valid problem. I get that you have a valid argument and a valid problem.
If he, I wouldn't say stop flopping,
Right.
but just minimize it. Where do you rank him?
Like 7th in the NBA.
Yeah, he still respects Harden.
Yeah,
He's a really good
he's
player.
still a top, no doubt. I mean, this dude's IQ is
Okay.
I feel like
Who
this
are your
conversation's going
other-
like Leo thinks he's not a good player, but
No, I think he's a great player. I just don't think he's Giannis good. Like, Giannis good is like
Name your
godly
top
great.
5
Giannis number 1.
above KD.
Yes, KD number 2, LeBron number 3 because he's
You
LeBron.
still have LeBron up there at 3 right now?
You got to.
Even on the Lakers? I don't know.
Number 4, I have
Steph. Or
Steph. Sorry, I apologize. Now I have Steph number 4, and number 5 is hard. I mean, you can go Kawhi. You can go a lot of players.
I could say Kawhi, but
I'd go Kawhi. You're right.
almost something seemed off. this year. I
Kawhi,
don't
Steph,
know what.
Clay, LeBron, my guy Giannis. And it's funny, it's only one point guard in there. They're all wings. You need wings, Joe.
Heads.
You need wings, Joe.
Wings you can't do.
I like
Name of
that
the
he
show.
uses.
Full circle.
The wing show. The winged show.
He always likes the wings, and I
You
I
got to,
get
bro.
that.
Celtics,
That's all they do.
that's a bunch of wings. The Raptors, bunch of wings. It's just a recipe for success in the NBA. You need wings, and they're hard to come by. So you maximize Harrison Barnes, and you give him $18 million per year
Okay.
for the next 4 years.
You would draft, and I'm not talking about the people right now that are in the league, but you think that a wing is more important than an amazing point guard. If you had an A plus,
That's
99
hard.
point guard or an A plus 99 point wing, you choose
Wait, you
the
said
wing
like
first.
a
I'm saying they're both
they're both
99.
A+?
Best of the world, best
Wing.
ever two
wing.
point guards.
Wing because wings are typically two-way players. Typically, not naming LeBron James. And point guards aren't. They're very offensive oriented.
Not naming Steph Curry.
Right, he's offense oriented. He's
Not
not
gonna
he's,
lock you
he's,
guys
he's
down.
not very good defensively. He's
not very good
blessed that he
defensively.
has Klay Thompson with him.
Okay.
Always.
Super.
So my reasoning, and again, this will be a math thing. The reason I always think that point guards are better, the reason I always go with the shorter player first, is if you are 6 foot tall to 6'4" and you're a point guard, you had to beat the other 5 billion of us that are 6'4" to 6 foot tall. If you are 7 foot tall You have to beat
you're using
100,000 people to be. I mean, so
You're using logic.
I understand that, and that's what I'm saying.
And
So
we're using numbers.
and I am too.
LeBron,
though.
KD,
you have
Kawhi,
to beat.
those are the MVPs, right? Of the finals. You got Steph is the only one that's the point guard. Name anybody else. Russell's a choke artist.
Oh wow.
Black hole. Westbrook is trash. I'm just gonna tell it the way
Westbrook
it is.
is trash.
I would not. He's not a number one option.
Not trash, bro.
He's not number one option though.
I love that you're like.
But-
we have to talk to him again one day.
He's not a number one option.
We always argue about Westbrook, well, but Dame is better than him.
Damian Lillard is better than him.
I like Damian Lillard a lot.
And this,
So-
if Steph
so let's-
Curry,
let's
if Steph
talk
Curry
about-
if Steph Curry did not
Paul
exist,
George, another top 10
no doubt.
player.
So who's
Healthy
on,
Paul George. 'cause
Who's
Paul
on
George is
Portland
hurt.
right now that's winning?
What? Say it again.
Who's on Portland right now that's holding it together?
Damian is.
Okay.
And I'm
No
at.
small forward. That's what's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
what's insane.
Strange, right?
Yeah.
So it's
It's
not always
possible.
the answer. Is all I'm
It's
saying.
possible.
Oh, Al-Farouq Aminu. The Kings would. He's a free agent. He'd be great on the
that
Kings.
would be a good pickup.
I like that one. There you go. I just
It's a
forgot.
wing.
It's a wing.
That's because you like wings. That's just. I mean, like again, we could put it. You need to have the graphic.
Yeah. Okay.
That's honestly. It
Farouq.
has to like flash every time you say it.
know,
Like,
wings.
I get excited. It's like wings.
we have to find a restaurant to sponsor this show so that you can just.
Fire
I-
wings.
I
bro.
agree with you,
I'm
but I mean,
smoking
like-
fire wings already. Man. Fire wings got to do it, man. Fire wings got to do it.
Oh my lord.
Any final words, Joe? Plug in your shows and all that good stuff.
Man, I don't want to plug anything. I'm just me. You know where I am. I'm on Twitter and everywhere at Sac Sports Morgan. I'm easy to find. You'll find me. King's Court. Obviously, we're live and we're trying to get. I'll go on this little tangent again. It's another 10-day summer league. We're going to the whole thing again. We're gonna be crazy. I'm so excited. I love summer league. I actually like it more than the regular season.
Yeah,
So
we're going. We just don't know how many days yet.
come the whole time. It's a ball.
I know.
There's a handful of classes. There's
I've been there 7 days and it was not a ball. I was
It's
exhausted.
not a ball. No, bro. 7 days.
I was exhausted.
So-
We've been there 7 days. It was
so-
not a ball.
So 10 days, 4 games a day, and then before and after.
That aspect, yeah. But the
But
the
before and
after
after
is like.
See, you guys do something different. You guys go to the strip. I'm talking about. I go to
No, bro, we go. We legit stay home and edit the whole
the
thing.
first half
yeah,
of the
bro. That
day.
shit was
are
ridiculous.
classes.
All over.
Yeah.
You go to like scout classes. You go to like coaches classes. You go to like this year. There's a coaching U thing that I'm
Right.
gonna try to go
It's
to.
fun.
Oh my god,
It's
so
fun.
much
It's
fun.
fun.
But
I'm
by the
just
end
saying,
of it,
though.
you need a vacation from your vacation. There's no question. Like you know.
Because you're working.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like all we do is edit. Like that trip was terrible.
So I jokingly say this year I might just try to do only live shows so there's no edits.
Exactly.
Like whatever. You guys hear whatever you hear. If I curse, I'm sorry. It is what it is. You're gonna live with it because I'm not. Yeah, 12
but then
hours.
you run into the whole like internet stuff and shit goes wrong. And you're like, oh my gosh, certain parts get cut out. You're like,
Believe me, but at the same
trust
time.
me, we've been there, done
But
that.
at the same time, on that 10th day, you're like, you know what? You
I
hear
don't
me?
give a
You hear me
F.
curse? You hear me curse, dude? Suck it up, Buttercup. But it's like, yeah, but it's gonna be
Cool.
fun.
We'll talk about that.
We'll have to get down
Other
there.
than that, man, we thank you guys so much for watching. This is
It was fun
what you
again.
guys have been asking for. We talked about free agency extensively. I know there's a dude on Instagram that keeps bugging us about a free agency video. I'm like, all right, we're gonna do it, bro.
I appreciate you.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
We need to talk about the draft. We need to get more in depth on free agency.
No doubt.
But we get sidetracked because we have these conversations off air. You guys don't hear about 90% of it too. Like our text thread is ridiculous.
But we appreciate the sponsors. Make sure to follow the Detailing Pros Sacramento on Instagram. Also, Valley Tire Center. They are having very good deals. Thank you guys so much. Any final words, you man?
Celtics in 7.
Oh my gosh. Was that real?
That was real.
All right. You?
Not that.
Thank you. We have a same person.
That's my-
Watching
That's my answer to that one. Is no, none of that. In fact, let's get on Bovado right now. Like, let's,
Thank you.
like, I'm-
Bovada needs to sponsor this.
Yeah, now that's-
By the way.
if that happened, we'd have a different betting.
Yeah.